R.I.P. Michael Jackson.
Trill got wings.
You niggas be acting. If I show you what we're packing, you be like, God damn.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Sip and Swap podcast with me, your host, Mr. Mars.
And me, Dice Phoenix.
And today we have a special guest. We're not in this building, we're in his building, Trill Taylor.
Yes, people.
Thank you for having us in your house, man.
My brother.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Got a couple questions to ask you today as we just get to know you. If that's all right with you?
Okay. Yeah, that's calm.
So, first up, who is Trill Taylor? Like, I know, rumor has it, not rumor, but I know that your name before this was Dirty Daps. So what changed the name from Dirty Daps, and who is Trill Taylor? If you can.
Obviously Dirty Daps was my main name that I carried from before I was 16 and onwards. And then I changed my name to Trill Taylor because it's more approachable, because Taylor is my government name, my surname, and my family hold a big name in the States.
Okay.
So I got a lot of family in the States and Caribbean called Taylors, and yeah, I just call myself Trill Taylor because that means more than real, just trill.
Yeah.
So I just said Trill Taylor, and that's what I want to be called, so that I can be more approachable to the public and the audience.
I hear that. But what, could you tell us what, okay, that's basically giving us like a breakdown of what inspired both, like, real. What inspired Dirty Daps before?
I would say Dirty Daps, because I believe God made us from the dirt. And I made myself, and I came out of Daps, a dapper.
Yeah.
Dapper, clean, smart, educated, knows where he's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I say it.
I like that.
Yeah. And the Trill Taylor means eternal beauty.
I like that.
So Trill, eternal beauty.
Yeah, man.
And on my tattoos on my eyebrows, I got eternal blessings and eternal life.
Nice.
So I believe in eternity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's powerful, man. That's eternal blessings. I don't know if you want to expand on what that means to you, because I personally...
It's deep. Listen, this is my brother from another mother.
I thought my name was great.
My mum asks about him and things like that. Do you get it? Like, she's got a pair of jeans that used to be Daps's, but from back in the day. So I know that he's deep, but I've never heard him explain
the depth
of why he chose his names and stuff. So even me sat here right now, I'm kind of blown away by his thought process behind it. Your spirit is eternal. So to even put those things above your eyebrows, which your eyes are a very powerful thing, not only physically but spiritually. So, and to me, tattoos are personal. They're for me, whenever I've got a tattoo, I've overcome something, or I'm going through a hard time. So I can relate to how deep that means to him. You get me? Especially when your eyes are closed, then you've written that, as a stamp almost, or a branding on your heart, and that's all. To do with God. So
yeah, man, that's deep. I feel like you have deep spiritual rootings, from even equating things to eternity. So what would you say inspired you to make music? What inspired you to pick up the pen and say, I want to write my first bar?
I'm Tupac, Biggie, Big L, Big Pun, Wiley, Diz Rascal. When I started listening to grime, I started getting into writing more.
Okay.
But I done my first track was a rap track.
Okay.
But I wasn't feeling my flow at all, my style. I was like, this is weak. It wasn't weak when I listened back, but compared to how I am now, I was like, nah, I can step up my game. So I said, you know what? Grime is a little bit easier for me, so let me start writing grime. And then I started doing radio sets.
Okay.
So when we done sets at houses and radio, it became a thing where I was writing like 3 16s a week or learning 3 new 16s a week. So I had a catalogue of lyrics.
Okay.
So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
So it's like you've already gone to my next point because I was going to ask you what artists you listened to when you were younger. Like, so you were listening to like the Tupac, the Biggies, the Big L's, and then I feel like were you born here in the UK?
I was born in Uganda.
Okay, so there was some point where you came into England and then you got into like the...
Yeah, I came in when I was 1.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I was basically English.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
British.
So literally, your consumption of music, because I was born in Zimbabwe, I came here when I was 12. So back in Zim, we were like Americanized. I even had like a bit of an American twang to my accent.
Yeah.
So like guys thought I was from America. I'm from Zimbabwe, so it sounds, for me, I'm speaking the Queen's English. Diction and all these things that these don't do. But I don't say these don't.
Yeah.
So y'all guys are like, wait. So it's like
that's how it is in Uganda as well.
Yeah. Because we listened to this one stream.
Yeah.
Those days, music wasn't as global as it is now.
Yeah.
Where I've got access to all of it, all the sounds. So like, obviously growing up here, like you're consuming like the Dizzy Rascals, the Wileys. These were your favorite artists, so you can say like these were the guys that said that you were like, yeah, that inspired
These are the
you.
guys that had their stamp on the scene and they inspired me because their flow, their style, their lyrics,
I hear that.
all fit together.
I hear that.
So I was like, yeah, even Jay-Z, like there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Flatter D.
Yeah. Oh, these are legends.
Yeah.
These are legends. Because obviously, like from what I know, you didn't, when you got into the game, you didn't just get into the game and, because how I met you, you weren't just rapping, you were making events. So I mean, we'll get into that. Like,
Can I chime in from an outsider's perspective on listening to the conversation that you guys are having? I'm taking myself back to before we actually had musicians to look up to, i.e. Flirta D, Wiley, XYZ. Because before that, it was all American artists that we were listening to. UK didn't really have a black scene in the music industry.
Urban scene.
Yeah, urban
wasn't
scene,
even
yeah,
existent.
Yeah, like
The word
there was
urban.
no urban genre within the UK system. It was underground, and you heard in the raves or in houses, because you just made a point of when I used to perform in house parties or blah blah. And I remember like the garage, when garage and grime first came in, that's how it was. You'd go to a party and people would play. You get me? So yeah, just that. It's good to see like the growth of where we are today in the music industry compared to where we started from.
so that's the thing. It's actually, speaking of growth,
Dax is one of the people that have been here from the beginning.
that's the thing. Speaking of growth, it's like, do you find like when you're listening to like radio, for example, you listen to like, well, these days not a lot of people listen to radio, but the other day I listened to radio, I noticed like somebody like Mo Stack, for example, has got very similar style to your own. You won't. I always say that you won't realize that who you're influencing until you listen to. Wait, that sounds like me. So, do you feel like a lot of people have been using your style, like even?
Yeah. Before anyone used auto-tune in the UK, I used it time ago. But I don't know. I feel like I influenced a lot because I used to be the hard grafter that was selling CDs in central London for 7 years. So my style must have got around too. I know I sold over 10,000 CDs.
Oh, wow.
So my style got around.
Yeah.
So I've influenced people, and not only from that, like we had a following from Scatter Records, you get me? And before that I was in a clique called Musical Mob. They made a tune called Are You Really Really From the End?
Yeah.
And they made Pulse X and all of that stuff. So they made so many stuff. So I had like hood fame from young.
Yeah.
So I've been an influencer from young, but it's a thing where I wouldn't say most facts just to get names twisted, but
That's my.
I know personally, I've influenced a lot of people in the game.
Yeah.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
And there's a lot of people that will vouch for it. That will say, that's influenced me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I brought through a lot of people as well. Like to radio, back in the day when there was pirate radio, people never been on radio, artists, just spitting in houses.
Yep.
Or spitting in youth clubs.
Yep.
I used to bring them to radio, to the first radio set. I used to bring people to the first show. I used to get people the first video. So that's why I'm promoting my studio and saying that I help people, mentor people, and help them get on Spotify and all of that.
Yeah. No, because you kind of still doing that. Like, you've been doing that for, like, even, so I say how I met you, like, you were doing like a show in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Where you had like so many artists coming up to perform. And it's like you're creating platforms for other artists, regardless of, like, how much experience they have, but to come and stand on stage and present their art, you're taking artists out of like just studios or YouTube and saying, this is how, number one, you make money and how you connect with artists, like from how I met you. And to know that like you've been doing that, taking artists from that comfort zone of just being like an MC spraying bars so people can hear you, to actually people can see you and can feel you and connect with you because you're bringing them into a platform. That's admirable, man. It's like not just are you building yourself up as an artist, but you then say, okay, cool, who's next and what can I do for the next one? That's actually respectable.
And to touch on Mr. Mars met Trill Taylor, I have to get used to saying Trill because I've known him as Daps for so long. It was the BMF Europe first show in Birmingham last year. So you're doing bits, it's global.
It's a lot, man. You had a lot of artists performing like that, man. It's a lot. Like, okay, so you said you're from Uganda. Like, do you often go back to perform there, or like?
Yeah, I'm from Uganda, Jamaica. I got family from America, all over, basically, Caribbean and all that. I've been back to Uganda to perform. That was in 2019. That's the last time I've been to Uganda. What was the other question?
Like, what's it like performing there? Like, as opposed maybe like performing here.
It's a new crowd, more challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But they like our music.
Yeah.
So they're always good to hear new people, especially if you're not from there.
Yeah.
So they'll give you more support. And it's just about being humble and trying to gain the audience's attention.
Have you tried to like perform in other places besides the UK? Like we had like an artist, Sindel, like last episode. She was talking about how in her words, the words quoted, the prophet is never accepted in their own land, in the sense that she's a French speaking artist from like Ivory Coast and parts of the Caribbean.
She's mixed, yeah. She speaks Creole and she's got.
And it's like here in England, there's a big acceptance of her artistry. But while she's been here, she's also getting like a lot of like support, like probably back home as well.
Yeah.
But do you find that's been happening?
More support back home? Yeah, I could say there's more support. Like where you live, like, I can say in my life, it's a thing where I've been trying to make it for a very long time, so long that where I started from, it's not the same support as it started, because it's been there for a long time. So they're used to me trying to make it. Whereas other people that are newcomers that are hearing me from outside the box, they've seen the progress and they see the talent more than the people inside because they're too comfortable. So everyone outside is seeing everything and they're supporting more. So when I go to another town, they support way more because they're like, I swear you should have blown a long time ago.
But that's the stage.
But these guys are like, yo.
Yeah, it's. I think that's what it's really weird. It's like I lived in Surrey. I was born in Zimbabwe, grew up in London pretty much because from 12 till 20 something I was in and around London. And then I did a year in Birmingham, a year and a half in Birmingham, and I lived in Surrey. So in and through this time, there's times when I did music and times when I didn't do music. In Birmingham, I had kind of stopped doing music like as much because I started rapping with my brothers when I was younger, doing a lot of rap in churches and all these things. Until they all stopped rapping, I was the only one who kept rapping because I felt like that was the thing that I could give to the world was my poetic vibes.
Yeah, it bars.
But it's tricky because like no matter where I went, it wasn't like you do find like sometimes people will be like, oh, this is good, but it's never really like where I was from my ends. It's not there. It's maybe like when I was performing in Birmingham or somewhere else, or when I lived in Surrey and I came back to London. I performed in London. Like, you're amazing. I moved back to London. I'm like, wait, there's a it's
a difference. It's a big difference.
Sindel said that she got even more support when she came to London, and her people in France saw that she's in London now, which I get because the game plan is to go outside of London. Almost makes it impossible for you to get a big fan base if you don't have money pushing your stuff. And when I say money, I mean big money, because we're in England, innit? To get your stuff spun on the radio is not little money. So the plan is, and the action plan is, and works better when you go outside of your land. The people in your land start paying attention to you. Because now you're doing something they're not doing. But you're still doing your craft outside, or you stepped out the box. So now they want to watch you because you've been doing the same shit. Stuff in London. So why should I keep? I watch you, but it's just okay, cool, nice. The minute you step
they
out,
won't even share your songs on social media.
Right, but the minute you go on holiday,
but when you're big, that's when they want to share everything and say, he's my guy, he comes to my house and all that. And I'm like,
you get more support from outside, or going back home to your own land, and then you're like, I'm from London, but I'm Canadian, or I'm Ugandan, or you get me? They're like, you're one of us. Yes, man, do your thing, you get me? But over here, it's more like, I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. And when I see it, then I'll support you properly.
It's really tricky. It's not even just dog eat dog. It's almost like
it's not to put no one on blast either, because I'm talking about a mindset on a whole, because we all have to hold ourselves accountable for it. We're not sitting here as artists saying, our tight brethren don't support us, because you do, and you have done since we were in nappies in this thing. But we mean our people on a whole, like as a music industry. You don't see what the Americans were doing for each other when they first came out in hip hop, and they'd say, this cat over there is hard, let's bring them in and make our own things and make it grow. You don't really see a lot of that happening over here in the UK, and I guess we're behind time when it comes to the music industry over there.
It's a bit dog eat dog. It's almost like we're keeping it sacred within amongst ourselves. But then that's what I'm saying, like, where your difference is like, in as much as you're still building, like you said, you're still trying to blow or whatever, but you've created so many so many sons, so many people who've learnt from you, your hustle and the things that you've brought into the game. And at the same time, you still keep opening doors. Whether it's you're doing a show, you're going to do a show where you're going to say, okay, cool, how many people can I put on the bill that can also come and perform? And as much as I wanted to be on stage, you don't have to be on stage too. And then you open the door for us, allowed us to cook and sell food at the venue. That's pretty cool. It's like, I respect the hustle within you, because it's not just about you moving forward. It's about how many people are ready to move forward with you as you're making the rise. So that leads me to the next question. Where do you see yourself musically? Or where do you see yourself in the future with what you're doing? Like,
I see myself behind the scenes and in front of the scenes.
Yeah.
So musically, with my music, my rapping, trap music, grime, all types of genres that I can touch in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, basically, And also, I see myself with I do commercial music as well. but I see myself with my record label going to the next level. So signing artists is have a big team.
Yeah, man. So if there was any collaboration like you could ever do with like past or present, which kind of singer, rapper, what kind of musician would you ever like imagine yourself with, or would you like to if you could?
I would like to work with Tupac, or Biggie,
What's that? The OG.
Never heard anyone answer with an impossible.
That's an impossible. Well, I mean,
well, you know, they could draw out one of the.
Or Nipsey Hussle.
Unreleased one, or Nipsey. So you're going for legendary, like great ones. Is there anyone living that you could say like? Maybe even a while.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I just don't.
You see his Grammy performance.
Nah.
To be honest, it was a Jay-Z's Grammy performance.
Yeah, he was inside.
Or even Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I think Jay-Z, if you did a collaboration with Jay-Z, did you see the God Did performance at the Grammys?
What?
The God Did performance that Jay-Z did at the Grammys?
Nah.
Man, it was great. I'm not gonna lie. It was great.
I watched it just before I came, and that's because Mr. Miles was playing it.
Let me be real. I like Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z. But only Jay-Z could have done that performance. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, it was super long.
So this is it. I'm watching this performance, right? I saw it because, you know, DJ Khaled comes on. He's like, DJ Khaled, we the best. They said we could never do it.
That was all the same
but
performance.
God did.
The whole thing was one.
It was one performance. It started, boom, out comes, I think it was Rick Ross. Rick Ross came out, did this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy who was singing the chorus with a deep, bassy voice. Then, I think immediately after Rick Ross, I think it was Lil Wayne. Or I can't remember who else rapped, but it was Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, and then Jay-Z started rapping.
Chasing that
and then Jay-Z started rapping. Now, when Jay-Z started rapping, he rapped for like 2 minutes into it. I'm like, this is sick. I must have ruled it back because the bars were nice.
Yeah.
This rap went on for like 6 minutes, bro. Like, I remember like Robin came in, we had a little story with the girls.
Bust up in the room
in and out.
Interrupted, and
I looked at the screen, I'm like, Jay-Z still rapping. It was all I'm saying is if you had a feature with Jay-Z, you probably like do like 2 verses on your wall. You would do a 32 when you gave him a 16.
It's on next levels.
That's pretty cool.
I guess you can.
You could though. I mean, Jay-Z is possible. It's definitely possible. I'm putting this out in the atmosphere. Trill Taylor could get on the song with Jay-Z. You probably make it happen.
That would be sick.
We have to make it happen.
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to from Trill Taylor this year?
This year, more projects coming out, videos, shows, clothing.
Now you've got a lot, like you're actually busy. You've got a lot of music out there. Like your catalog is big, and you've worked with a lot of artists even in the States. Can you talk about your connections between there and BMF Europe? Because like, as an artist, it's like you're building. You're not actually. When you say clothing, can you expand on that? And then can you also tell us about how you keep busy? Because you're not just doing one song and then just done. You can release a video, you can do more collaborations, you keep busy. What motivates you?
Basically, BMF. Big Meech's nephew made me join BMF.
Okay.
And I've been pushing BMF Europe for over 5 years.
Okay.
Spoke to Big Meech's brother Terry. He gave me the blueprint. Well, he gave me the push so that I got the green light. So I've been pushing it ever since then. But right now I'm just trying to organize this side of BMF Europe and also my thing called GFE.
Okay.
Which is God First Empire.
Alright.
For the clothes, we've got the clothes coming in starting from next month again.
Okay.
It's been going on, but right now it's been pre-orders. But we're gonna have a lot in stock starting from next month. The other question?
No, like, how do you keep busy? What inspires you, man? Like, it seems like you're This is it. You mentioned-
Avenues of making money inspires me.
Yeah, man. I hear
Yeah.
that. Just get those eternal blessings, you know.
Yes, Count your blessings.
Yeah, for generations to come.
Count your blessings for generations to come.
I wanna just start like give a little switch up to the interview because we'd like to put a little bit of a hot topic, before we round it up.
What's this doctor's name I keep seeing splatting around?
Dr.
TikTok,
Uma Johnson.
everywhere.
Stay woke. Dr. Uma Johnson's about, you know. He's for the culture.
Oh.
You seen us? We were watching Dr. Uma Johnson interview the other day, and he was saying a lot. Do you wanna like expand on one part? So Dice watches this interview, and she in as much as he said a lot of good points, there's one thing that got Dice's ear. Can you wanna like?
There was a podcast that was left on while I was chilling, and I heard Dr. Umar, who I kind of relate to some of the things he says, but this time he was talking about
Polygamy.
he was talking about monogamy at first.
Okay.
And how with the current situation and how, you know, society has, where we are in society, and how our black males are in society, the position that they're in and the obstacles that they have to face, and our children, 70% of them are raised by single mothers without the fathers in the homes, that we as women should think about for the future of our children and their generations to come, that the men should have more than one woman.
Okay.
And he was the way he pointed it out was, you know, by saying, you know, making these points and raising these points. How did it come about? He said that the men these days, well, the issue is behind this, because we don't come from this whole Western view of monogamy, XYZ. Our people don't have that, you know, foundation. We are very much what is for the best of our whole community. And the men often had more than one wife, and they were raised to be the go-getters, the breadwinners. But in the Western society, they're belittled. They don't get as much money as the white man or other ethnicities, so they are put down, you know, and they want. What's the word? They've been made. What's the word I'm looking for? Come on, help me out. Docile.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so he was making a point of men should just be upfront and say, he was like, there's no man on this earth that only has one woman, and that's the God's honest truth. Yeah? So he's speaking for all men at this point. But in the same sentence, he was saying to the women in America, I don't think it's true.
No,
it might be for the majority of the new Western black male, but I don't think that he can speak for every man. However, he did touch on the fact that these American women who are talking or complaining about this, or the lack of men because they're incarcerated or on drugs, XYZ, that they could find men outside of America and in African countries or Caribbean countries that love black women and are not all going to other races because of the whole mix-up. We all know what it is. But then he said, the men just need to be honest and say, yo, I don't do this lifestyle of having just one woman. Which, okay, yeah, I can agree. I've always said a man should just say that. Because a woman in her dating stage may say, you know, it's calm. If a man's saying that and I still want to mess with him, I'm going to mess with him. Yeah? When they come to a relationship, a woman will change her mind.
Yeah, I mean,
but he also said he wouldn't want his wife to have more than one man. But in the way that the world is going, with black women pursuing their careers and their riches and being able to hold down more than one job and having to be go-getters because of the way that things have been painted out, that women are now starting to have or entertain the idea of polygamy. That's what?
polygamy.
Polygamy? See? These new ass words.
So what's your question?
My question is, what is your, as men, what is your viewpoint of having like, you know, the strong woman that feels like she has to go get because the men are not go getting, because a lot of the women in our society have that armor on. And I have to say that because I've lived that. So I'm not just being judgmental and saying, but I've felt that, I've been that woman, and you know, as a mother raising kids, I've had to be that woman at some point. And it's only now in my adult life I'm learning how to allow a man to fully take that role when the man is safe. You know what I mean? In doing so, there's certain men that don't actually know how to do that, and then you're mothering them, and then as a woman you put up your guard and you get kind of like a lioness to because you feel like you have to. But where you don't, you kind of still carry that on if you don't check it. Right. So my question to you guys is, how do you feel? Because a lot of women I'm hearing right now that they want this multiple man stuff. Like, and to me, I wasn't raised like that. Society also hasn't been like that. But I guess I'm at the age and the understanding because I've understood all the ages growing up, if you get what I mean. I've been through quite a lot of the different rapid stages of change. So I understand where the women are coming from, because if I stayed in my kind of attitude, mindset, I'd probably be on, you know, like, I don't want more than one person, because my soul is very much, you know, you get me? You get what I'm saying? It's a lot to filter in, but what do you think of women having more than one man? Yeah.
My grandfather, he wasn't so much of a rolling stone, but he kind of was, because my father's father, we found out later on that he had a whole other family, which a lot of, like, that generation African men were doing. Not just African men, a lot of that generation men were doing. The whole other families on the side, especially when we were younger. So in that generation, it was. But then he had so many kids with my grandmother, like, and he was always at home, so we never really like knew this until later on in life. I say this to say that, like, in that generation, it was like taboo and hidden. But in certain African cultures, they'd be like, well, if you're financially capable of sustaining multiple wives, and finances are not necessarily money, like, it's in how you're able with livestock and all those things, because money is not the equator of finances in African customs. So that's how it's all played out. In this day and age, if you're talking about, like, actually sustaining and holding down actual relationships with multiple women, and say, like, this is like girlfriend number one, girlfriend number two, and they know about each other, that's
an orgy.
That I don't know if that's, like, actually possible. I mean, I've seen, like, guys on, like, you know, those shows that say, or like on TikTok, say, this is a polyamorous relationship, and they show, like, wife number one and wife number two and wife number three. They come in and all smile at the camera, and he comes in and kisses all three girls. I'm like, this is all good and well.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really.
But deep down,
I don't think they're here for you, to be honest. I don't.
What do you think? How do you feel about it?
It's a lot. For me personally, I just think one relationship is a lot. You know, like, when you do
two is way more.
You know when exactly. You know when you're dealing with, like, the emotional state of one relationship, and now you're dealing with two, and then a third.
I know for a man, having more than one wife is headache.
Oh my god!
Yeah, unless these two wives get along, and then they're gonna take over your bed without you, and then it's another headache for you. So, and then for women, do you really want to be looking after, on top of sons and daughters, multiple men?
It's a lot.
But then I get the women that are. No, I don't get, but I see the women that are, one pays the bills, one man's good in bed, and then the other man's good to show the family, and I don't know why I just go outside the country.
Because the thing is, like, in terms of, like, dating and relationships, I think a lot of men are under the disillusion that, like, if I've got, like, 4 or 5 girls around, you'll be thinking, I'm just doing that, I'm calm. Those 4 or 5 girls each could be dealing with 4 or 5 other guys, and I'll be thinking, nah, they're not. I'm calm. But they're treating this world in 2023. They're treating this world the same way I'm thinking I'm on crud.
Yeah, like the new age
girls are like, you know what?
Next things.
I got one guy who's gonna pay my phone bill. Another guy I'm gonna call him. He's gonna buy me Nando's. Another
signed up like 10 years ago.
So it's like, it's kind of mad because this is just like literally the state of relationships. But like, how do you take it? Would you think if it came to it, the girl said to you, polyamorous relationship, I'm good with it. Do you think it's a trap?
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's not happening, is it?
No.
What can your fans expect from you, or is there anything that you would like to say to your followers, old and new?
I said, don't give up. Keep going, and find something that motivates you to keep going as well. Find some happy music, something that makes you happy to keep going in life. You get me?
Purpose.
The minute you stop, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Shout out to everyone watching. Shout out to everyone supporting me. You know who you are.
Sing. Thank you so much, man.
GFE, BMF. Dirty Daps, Trill Taylor.
A lot of people like to spread rumors.
House of Fame. Sip and swap.
You believe what they tell you. You believe what they sell you. You're a cat with no whiskers. Can't believe your Chinese whispers.
I feel like a tongue twister.
I know, exactly.
You're a cat with no whiskers. Can't believe your Chinese whispers.